Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to Virtual University. I'm your course instructor for training and development, and this is the 38th lecture that we are meeting for today. I hope all of you are well and you are progressing in this course as we are going ahead with the content. You know that we were discussing the topic of employee development, and within that we had been discussing the approaches to employee development. In the previous sessions, we have been talking about formal education, assessments, and job experiences as an approach for employee development. Today we are going to discuss another category of these approaches to employee development, and that is interpersonal relationships. आपने देखा होगा कि जब भी आप किसी नई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जाते हैं तो वहाँ पर आप बहुत एलियनेटेड फील करते हैं, आप फील करते हैं कि यू डोंट बिलोंग ओवर देयर, आपको लगता है कि दिस इज नॉट अ फेमिलियर प्लेस, और उस अनफेमिलियरिटी की वजह से बहुत सारी एप्रीहेंशंस, बहुत सारे फियर्स आपके अंदर डेवलप हो जाते हैं. आहिस्ता आहिस्ता जब आप एनवायरनमेंट से फेमिलियराइज होते हैं, लोगों के साथ इंटरैक्ट करना शुरू करते हैं और लोगों से आप बातचीत शुरू करते हैं, एनवायरनमेंट को समझना शुरू करते हैं, तो आपको ये पता चलता है कि आपके बहुत सारे फियर्स और बहुत सारी एप्रीहेंशंस और एंग्जाइटीज जो थी वो बेसलेस थी. ये सिर्फ डर, अनफेमिलियरिटी का डर था, ऑब्लिवियन का डर था. इट वाज द फियर ऑफ द अननोन. सो ऐसी सिचुएशन में अगर आपको उसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के, उसी इंस्टीट्यूशन के कुछ ऐसे लोग मिल जाएं, जैसे आप स्टूडेंट्स के तौर पे जब जाते हैं तो अगर आपको सीनियर्स में से कुछ ऐसे लोग मिल जाएं जो कि आपको इंफॉर्मेशन दें, आपको कुछ थोड़ा बहुत सपोर्ट कर दें, आपको ओरिएंटेशन में हेल्प करें, और आपको अगर कोई बात नहीं समझ आ रही, अगर आपको कुछ चीज की जरूरत है, और you just need to know के where should I go, where should I look for this information or this resource, and they just provide you with that information के भाई ऐसे कर लो, उस बंदे से बात कर लो, उस बंदे से मिल लो, तो आपके लिए काम बड़ा आसान हो जाता है. And then you connect with those people, you develop a special bond with those people, and you look up to them for advice, for guidance, and for information. So, what do we call these people? When people from the organizational environment, they relate with us, they support us, they guide us, what do we call them? Sometimes we call them mentors, sometimes we call them coaches. So this is what we are going to talk about today. These are the relationships which help people build networks, which help people understand the organization, which help people understand the environment, the politics of the organization, and to understand what to do and how to do the things that are required for successful completion of the job task, as well as for progression in the overall career. So these are the relationships which help a person develop. ऐसी situations में, उन organizations में जहाँ पर कोई formal program नहीं होता development का, जहाँ पर कोई formal approach नहीं employ की जाती employee development के लिए, तो वहाँ पे खास तौर पे interpersonal relationships, they play a major role in directing and orienting employees towards activities that will lead to employee development. क्योंकि development के लिए आपको ये ज़रूरी है कि पता हो कि क्या करना है. What should you do? What courses to take? What people to contact? What is basically in this organization which will help you develop, which will help you progress in the career? So it is these relationships, they are one of the major resources that help in employee development. So organizations and academicians and practitioners, they have realized that this resource must be utilized in a formal manner. This resource of relationships must be utilized in a manner which is directed towards something particular, something that is actually taking you towards employee development. So organizations have now started using these relationships, mentoring and coaching, as formal programs for employee development. So let's first of all discuss mentoring relationships. So for that, we need to see, what does it mean by a mentor? What is the definition of a mentor? For organizational definition, a mentor is an experienced, productive senior employee who helps develop a less experienced employee, which is the protege. So a mentor-protege relationship is a relationship in which an experienced person from the organization helps an inexperienced person or less experienced person to develop, to progress, and to understand the organization. Okay, so mentoring programs, they can have various dimensions. They can vary on various dimensions. Mentoring programs can be formal mentoring programs in which it is the organization which structures the program. It is the organization which defines that this is a mentoring program in which we will identify mentors for less experienced people. We will pair up these people with more experienced people, and they will form a bond of mentor-protege. Whereas in organizations where there aren't any formal mentoring programs, there may be informal mentoring. Informal mentoring is the relationship which is developed informally in the organization. उसके लिए organization कोई formal structured program employ नहीं करती है, ये bonds खुद ही से बन जाते हैं. जैसे अभी मैंने आपको example दी कि अगर आप किसी institution में जाते हैं और आपके seniors जो हैं वो आपको help करते हैं and you develop a bond with them, that is an informal relationship जो कि formally bond नहीं किया गया था, formally create नहीं किया गया था. वो relationship जो है वो लोगों के दरमियान खुद से बन गया, खुद से develop हो गया. So where there aren't any formal mentoring programs, there are incidences of informal mentoring as well. And where there are formal mentoring programs, it does not limit the development of informal bonds either. क्योंकि एक तो आप formally लोगों के साथ connect किए जाते हैं, ये भी possibility है कि आप informally लोगों के साथ connect करें और आपका कुछ ऐसे relationships बन जाएं which out of the other relationships of formal mentors, you do have some people other than the formal mentors in your organization who help you and guide you, and you develop a relationship of mentorship with them. So there may be formal or informal mentoring in an organization. Then there are individual mentoring programs in which a mentor is individually on one-on-one basis is paired with a protege. And then there are group mentoring programs in which one mentor is paired with a group of proteges in which there may be 2 or 3, 5, 10, there is no limit to the group, but usually 4 to 5 people are grouped together, 4 to 5 proteges are grouped together with one mentor. So there could be individual mentoring programs and there could be group mentoring programs. What are the purposes of these mentoring programs? Why do organizations structure and employ mentoring programs? What is the reason behind that? What do we want to do? We've just discussed that in our ongoing discussion, but just to enlist them and just to clarify your thinking, let's take a look at the basic objectives of mentoring programs. So first of all, mentoring programs, they are employed to socialize new employees and to increase the likelihood of skill transfer from training to the work setting. So वही बात के जब नए लोग आते हैं तो उनके fears और apprehensions को reduce करने के लिए और उनको socialize करने के लिए हम organization में mentoring programs को design करते हैं. और उसके अलावा स्पेसिफिकली ट्रेनिंग के पर्सपेक्टिव में हमने ट्रांसफर ऑफ ट्रेनिंग की बात की थी और हमने डिस्कस किया था कि उसमें बहुत सारे ऑब्स्टिकल्स हो सकते हैं कि जो एम्प्लॉयज ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम में लर्न करते हैं वो एक्चुअली अपनी वर्क एनवायरनमेंट में अप्लाई कर सकते हैं या नहीं कर सकते. सो उन ऑब्स्टिकल्स को रिड्यूस करने के लिए, उन ऑब्स्टिकल्स को फेस करने के लिए एम्प्लॉयज को किसी की हेल्प की या सपोर्ट की जरूरत होती है. सो मेंटर्स कैन प्रोवाइड अ वेरी यूजफुल resource. They can provide useful guidance and information in terms of using the training content that they have learned in a training program to the work environment. So that is one purpose of mentoring programs. Another purpose of mentoring programs is specifically to enable women and minorities to gain the experience and skills needed for managerial positions. That is one of the purposes of designing mentoring programs, specifically in the developed countries, because we are becoming more and more concerned about equal employment opportunity and giving all people the same resources, the same opportunities, which includes women and minorities. So in order to help them, in order to make them familiar, make them comfortable with the organizational environment, mentoring programs are employed to help them get adjusted to the environment. And mentoring programs are also employed to help them in career progression. Because आपको पता होगा, आपने organizational behavior में पढ़ा होगा, that women face and minority face the effect of glass ceiling, कि एक certain level के बाद वो अपने career में आगे progress नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि they are marginalized because they are from the other gender or they are from another race or religion which is in minority. So such people require special help, they require special guidance from people within the organization for them to understand what they should do so that they can cross these barriers, so that they can face these obstacles of glass ceiling or discrimination or marginalization. So, and it has been found in research that women who have been supported by mentoring programs, they progress better in careers and they reach higher in the hierarchy of the organization than women who do not have any mentors in the organization. So it is very helpful for people who belong to the minorities and to the other gender. And then there is another purpose of mentoring programs, and that is to develop managers for top-level management positions or to help them acquire specific skills. Now, to reach the top-level management, it is a very tricky path. Everybody cannot reach to the top. You know that organizations are structured in a hierarchical manner in which employees are funneled to the top of the organization. Not everybody reaches the top of the organization. And it is very important and vital for the organization that those people, they are sifted through the ranks of the organization who are really capable of leading, who are capable of directing the organization to better economic growth. So, in order to identify and then to groom such people, mentoring programs are very useful. So, in order to develop promising managers, mentoring programs are employed. So, people from top level management, they provide mentoring support to promising managers. वो उनको गाइड करते हैं, वो उनको सपोर्ट करते हैं, वो उनको उनकी स्ट्रेंथ्स और वीकनेसेस बताते हैं और उनको हेल्प करते हैं कि वो अपनी स्ट्रेंथ्स को कैपिटलाइज कर सकें और अपनी वीकनेसेस को रिड्यूस कर सकें. सो दिस इज समथिंग which is an important function of mentoring programs. Now we would like to take a look at the various benefits that employees they get from mentoring programs. The benefits are two-sided. It's not just that only the proteges benefit from the mentoring programs. The mentors, they also benefit from these mentoring programs. So there could be several benefits that the proteges gain and the mentors gain. It is a two-sided relationship. So first, let's take a look at what benefits do the proteges gain. The proteges gain the benefits of career support. That is the major benefit of mentoring. They have somebody to support them in their career progression. So, what kind of elements are there which provide support to a person's career when there is a mentor? One is that of coaching. The person coaches the protege to do activities, to build his strengths, and to work on his weaknesses. So, an element of coaching is there. Then, an element of protection is also there. The mentor protects the interests of the protege. So if the protege is facing any kind of political pressure, or the protege is being reprimanded unfairly by the immediate boss, or he needs any other kind of protection in the organization, mentors provide that kind of protection. Another benefit is that of sponsorship. The mentors, they sponsor their proteges. So, for example, if there is an attractive training program in which not every employee of the organization gets a placement, if the mentor will sponsor the employee, okay, this is the person who is really capable, this is the person I know, I guarantee that this is the person who has the abilities and who will really benefit a lot from this training program. That sponsorship will help push that employee, and it will help gain that employee a position in that training program. So sponsorship is also an important benefit that employees, proteges gain from a mentoring program. Another benefit is that the proteges, they get challenging assignments. So you know that in order to develop your skills, in order to really polish your abilities, it is important that you actually receive challenging work. If you will not receive challenging work, if what you do is below your potential and you keep on doing that again and again, it will not improve your skills, it will not realize your potential. So the benefit of having a mentor is that he knows that what are the higher level skills that can be employed in bringing out your potential, and he can or she can give you challenging assignments which will polish your potential. And then another benefit of mentoring programs is exposure. For example, अगर आपका कोई mentor है और आप उसके साथ informally आपके ताल्लुकात हैं और आप उसके ऑफिस में बैठे हुए हैं और उस ऑफिस में CEO आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के आ जाते हैं क्योंकि आपका जो मेंटर है वो टॉप लेवल मैनेजमेंट से बिलोंग करता है, आपका CEO से इंट्रोडक्शन हो जाता है, आपके मेंटर आपको उसके CEO के साथ इंट्रोड्यूस करवाते हैं, बताते हैं कि दिस पर्सन हैज दीज काइंड ऑफ कैपेबिलिटीज, ये बहुत काबिल है, ये बहुत लायक है. आप हैं भी, काबिल भी हैं और लायक भी हैं, लेकिन बहुत सारे काबिल और लायक लोग जो हैं वो छुपे रह जाते हैं, उनकी एबिलिटीज को एक्सपोजर नहीं मिलता. सो मेंटरिंग, another benefit of mentoring is that it provides exposure to people कि आप अभी बहुत थोड़े छोटे रैंक्स में होने के बावजूद, क्योंकि आप ऊपर के लेवल के लोगों के साथ, आप हायरार्की में जो आपसे ऊपर हैं उनके साथ इंटरैक्ट कर रहे हैं, उनके साथ उठ बैठ रहे हैं, आपको एक्सपोजर मिलता है. एक्सपोजर आपको लोगों के सामने भी मिलता है, एक्सपोजर आपको काम का भी मिलता है. So when your mentor will provide you with challenging assignments, you will get an exposure to a higher level skill. You will get an exposure to a higher level job that you wouldn't have received if you did not receive that from your mentor. So it provides you with exposure, and it also provides you with visibility. Again, if you will be seen with the important and higher level people of your organization, people will recognize you. They will recall your face. They will recall your name. And that is an important factor in progression in a person's career, that people know you. How many people know you? What is your existence? क्या आपको सिर्फ चंद लोग जानते हैं जो कि आपके यूनिट में काम करते हैं, या आपको आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के हर यूनिट से कोई ना कोई जानता है, आपको ऊपर के लोग भी जानते हैं, आपको सबऑर्डिनेट्स में से भी लोग जानते हैं. यू हैव अ लार्जर एग्जिस्टेंस. इट इज नॉट दैट you use that existence unfairly or you use that existence to forward your vested interests, but these things, they can also be used productively, and these are not always negative. These can be utilized positively, because organizations, they are social environments. They are not like machines. So in a social environment, you need to interact socially. You need to interact in an emotionally intelligent manner. And that involves making networks. That involves being visible to other people. Unless you are not visible to other people, nobody is going to pick you up for higher level assignments, for promotion, for more benefits. So you need to become visible, and that is a benefit that you gain from mentoring programs, that you become more visible in the organization. So we have found that research shows that people who are supported by a mentor, who have been through a mentoring program, it leads to greater skill development. They have better skills than people who have not been through mentoring programs. It leads to higher promotion rates, it leads to better salaries, and it leads to greater organizational influence. You have more power in the organization, more influence in the organization if you have been supported by a mentor in your organization, as compared to people who did not receive mentoring any time in their career. So these are the career benefits that you receive from mentoring program. You also receive a number of psychological benefits from a mentoring program as well. as we just discussed in the start of the session, that you have a number of fears and anxieties when you enter a new organization. And if somebody is there to guide you and to help you, those anxieties and fears can be reduced. So in the form of a mentor, you receive a friend in the organization, somebody who you know will give you sincere advice. Because this world is a difficult place and everybody is not trustworthy. People will not give you the right kind of advice just because you asked for it. At times, people may direct you in the wrong direction as well. Because organizations, they have a very complex dynamics. People have to progress in their careers. There may be political dynamics working. People may try to pull your legs. So in that kind of a situation, in which you know that there may be some level of hostility from other people, there is a person who you can call your friend. Person who you know is sincere with you. So you find a friend in the form of a mentor. Then you also find a role model in the form of a mentor. Because a mentor is somebody who is successful and productive in the organization and is at a higher level position, is more experienced than you. So that means that that person has done particular things to reach that higher level. That person knows the secrets to success. So that person can serve as your role model. You can see and replicate his behaviors. You can try to mimic his style. And by doing so, you may be able to do the things correctly in the organization. You may be able to show the correct behaviors in the organization. So he serves as a role model. Then he also provides you with positive regard. A mentor is a person who will respect you, who will regard your abilities, and who will not laugh at your weaknesses, who will not belittle you for your mistakes. You may get these kind of behaviors from other people of your organization. There may be colleagues who belittle you, colleagues who demoralize you. So this person is someone who gives you the feeling of regard, the feeling of respect. And in a place where there may be people who demoralize you, who de-energize you, if there is a person who gives you respect, who gives you regard, you get energy from that. If your energy is depleted by other people of the organization, you can regain your energy by this positive regard that you get from your mentor. So that is a huge psychological support the mentor can provide you with. Another psychological benefit is the benefit of acceptance. When you are working in an organization, and especially when you enter a new organization, everybody is not going to accept you very easily. There are people who will make it really sure that you don't get accepted. There are people who will try that you don't feel comfortable in the organization. So this is a person who will give you the feeling of acceptance and who will also help you get accepted in the organization. So that is another benefit. And finally, the list may be longer, but the list that I have made, finally, you get the benefit of having an outlet to vent out your fears, your anxieties, and to vent out your troubles. So this is a person where you can go and talk about your fears. And you know that this person will be ready to listen. So it becomes an outlet or of venting out your fears and anxieties. And you know, catharsis is very important. When you have negative feelings inside you, it is important to throw them out. It is important to spit them out. So if you keep them bottled up inside yourself, they will keep poisoning you. They will lead to more negativity. So it is important to express those feelings, and express those feelings in front of a relevant person. If you will talk about what is going on in your organization to somebody, some ABC person who doesn't know your organization, who doesn't know who are you talking about, who doesn't know what are you talking about, that is not going to lead to catharsis. A person who is relevant to the environment, who knows the people, who knows the job, when you talk to somebody like that, that will be more helpful. So these are some of the benefits that the proteges receive from a mentoring program, from a mentor. But as I said, it's a two-way relationship. The mentors, they also receive benefits from the activity of mentoring. One is that they can improve on their interpersonal skills. By helping people, by guiding other people, you gain a lot of insight in a number of things that are happening around your environment. And when you help other people, when you develop other people, you develop yourself as well. और फिर आपको लोगों के साथ इंटरैक्ट करने का, लोगों को समझने का, उनकी प्रॉब्लम्स को समझ के उनको समझाने का तरीका आप सीखते हैं. And these are very important interpersonal skills. These are higher level interpersonal skills. You just don't know how to communicate well. You know how to be productive in the communication. You know how to understand the person, and then you also know how to make that person understand your perspective as well. So it is a higher level interpersonal skill. So that is a skill that mentors gain from mentoring activity. They also get the benefit of increased feeling of self-esteem and worth in the organization. क्योंकि जब आप किसी को गाइड कर रहे हैं, आपके साथ लोगों को अटैच किया जा रहा है कि ये लोग आपसे सीखेंगे, इनको आप सिखाएं, इनको आप हेल्प करें, इनको आप गाइड करें, it places you at a higher level. It places you at a position where you feel you are somebody important. You feel you are somebody who's capable of developing others. And it raises your self-esteem. And it also improves your perception of worth in the organization. When people are assigned to you कि इनको develop करें, इनको बनाएं, तो आपको ये लगता है कि आप इस organization के लिए एक valuable asset हैं. You have some worth in this organization. That is why people are being assigned to you for the purpose of development. So that gives you a higher level of self-esteem. It gives you a lot of things that add up to your satisfaction, that adds up to intrinsic satisfaction. And then another benefit of mentoring activities for the mentors in management as well as technical fields is that mentors, they get to know about the upcoming knowledge and upcoming technology in a particular field. Because usually when you reach the higher level management positions, you get disconnected with the mainstream process, with the mainstream activity of the organization. Whereas people who are actually in the mainstream activity, they have knowledge of the new scientific developments. So a mentor will get to know about the new scientific developments in both management fields as well as technical fields from people who are at the lower level of the organization, because they are more closer to the functions, to the mainstream functions of the organization. Okay, so these were the benefits of a mentoring program that mentors as well as proteges receive from mentoring activities. Now let's take a look at the characteristics which make a mentoring program more effective. जैसे कि हमने बात की थी कि mentoring relationships किसी formal structure के बगैर भी develop हो सकते हैं, लेकिन चूंकि ये relationships इतने useful हैं, हम ये चाहेंगे कि हम उनको इस तरह से structure करें जिसमें benefit maximize किया जा सके. So what do we need to do in order to make these mentoring programs more effective? And while we are actually formally employing these programs, we can adjust the characteristics of these programs to make them more effective. So what should we do? One is that mentor and protege participation is voluntary. Nobody is forced into the relationship. If somebody doesn't want to help others, you cannot make them help others. There has to be a motivation behind that. If somebody does not want to receive help on the other side, then you cannot force a person into such a relationship. And so this participation should be voluntary. And if a person wants to quit that relationship, अगर आपको किसी mentor के साथ assign किया जाता है या आपको कुछ proteges assign किए जाते हैं और कुछ अरसे के बाद आपको ये पता चलता है कि आपकी mental alignment नहीं हो रही है, आपका relationship नहीं बन सकता, आप different हैं बहुत, आपकी values different हैं, आप एक दूसरे के साथ relate नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो उस relationship को ख़त्म कर देने की जो flexibility है, जो freedom है, वो ज़रूर होनी चाहिए. Without any fear of punishment. कि अगर हम ऐसे करेंगे, अगर हम ये रिलेशनशिप को क्विट कर देंगे तो इसका हमें ये नुकसान होगा. वैसे तो किसी भी रिलेशनशिप को क्विट करने के नुकसानात होते हैं, एंड यू कैन नॉट गेट अवे फ्रॉम दोज प्रॉब्लम्स, यू कैन नॉट गेट अवे फ्रॉम द लॉसेस, but the organization should try to minimize those losses by clearly saying that it is a voluntary relationship and anybody can quit the relationship at any point of time without any fear of punishment. So that is one characteristic that should be there in mentoring programs. Then another characteristic that should be there is that formal mentoring relationships of mentor-protege should not limit the development of informal relationships. कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आपको एक मेंटोर के पास असाइन कर दिया गया है तो अब आपको सोशली रिस्ट्रिक्ट किया जाए कि आप किसी और के पास जाके हेल्प रिसीव ना करें, आप किसी और से गाइडेंस ना लें. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. इफ यू हैव एन इनफॉर्मल मेंटर in the organization, that should be completely accepted. That is another characteristic which would make your mentoring programs more effective. Then another characteristic which would lead to more effectiveness is that mentors are chosen on the basis of their past record in developing employees, their willingness to serve as a mentor, and evidence of positive coaching, communication, and listening skills. So people who have been shown to develop employees, जिनके past record में ये मौजूद है कि उन्होंने लोगों को गाइड किया है, सपोर्ट किया है, डेवलप किया है, those people should be chosen as mentors. Another characteristic which should be there is that mentor-protege matching is based on how the mentor's skills can help meet the protege's needs. So the matching should be relevant. The protege, the kind of needs that person has, the kind of need for development that person has, the skills of the mentor should be matched with it. For example, अगर आप एक assessment करते हैं और उसमें ये पता लगता है कि आपके एम्प्लॉय को communication skills improve करने की जरूरत है. So now that person should be assigned to a mentor who is an expert in developing communication skills. अगर आप उसको प्रोडक्शन एक्सपर्ट के पास भेज देंगे, उसकी जो रिक्वायरमेंट है, उसकी जो नीड है, वो पूरी नहीं होगी. सो द रिक्वायरमेंट, द नीड्स ऑफ द प्रोटेजीज must be matched with the mentor's skills. Another characteristic is that the purpose of the program should be clearly understood. Projects and activities that the mentor and protege are expected to complete are specified. So there must be an objective that is identified. कि ये इस mentoring program का objective है, ये skills हम सिखाना चाहते हैं, और इन activities में ये projects और ये activities की जाएंगी. Then another thing is that the length of the program is specified. How long are you going to be assigned to a mentor? How long can you go and talk about your problems? The length should be specified, whether it is for a year or 2 years, or it is a lifetime relationship. So the length of the program must be specified. Then a minimum level of contact between the mentor and the protege should also be specified. कि minimum contact कितना होगा between the mentor and the protege? How frequent will they meet? How many times in a year or in a month will there be a contact between? The minimum contact, there is no limit to maximum contact, but the minimum contact must be specified. So you will see your mentor every week, you will see them every month, or what should be the minimum contact hours of a mentor-protege activity. Then another characteristic is that proteges, they should be encouraged to interact with each other. You will not have only one protege in the organization. There will be many people who will be assigned to mentors. And if it is a group mentoring program, you will be assigned to one mentor. So the proteges who are being assigned to one mentor or to multiple mentors, they must be encouraged to communicate with each other, to interact with each other, to discuss their problems with each other. So there will be a number of benefits of this interaction. So that should also be there in an effective mentoring program. Another characteristic of a formal, effective mentoring program is that the mentor is evaluated. आपको याद होगा कि हमने ट्रेनिंग, डिज़ाइन एंड डेवलपमेंट के प्रोसेस में एवैल्यूएशन को बहुत डिटेल में डिस्कस किया था, और हमने ये कहा था कि एवैल्यूएशन किसी भी प्रोग्राम की, किसी भी एक्टिविटी की बहुत ज़रूरी अमल है. तो जब आप फॉर्मली एक प्रोग्राम चला रहे हैं, आप उसमें इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, आप लोगों का टाइम उसमें लगवा रहे हैं, तो उस एक्टिविटी की वैल्यूएशन बहुत ज़रूरी है, ताकि आपको ये पता चल सके कि इसके क्या बेनिफिट्स रिसीव हो रहे हैं, प्रोटेजीज सेटिस्फाइड हैं, मेंटर्स सेटिस्फाइड हैं, और आपको ये पता चल सके कि इन एक्टिविटीज से एम्प्लॉयज ने, बोथ mentors and proteges, what have they gained from it? जो आपके ख्याल में जिन ऑब्जेक्टिव्स को आपने जहन में रखते हुए इन प्रोग्राम्स को डिजाइन किया था, क्या वो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स मीट हो रहे हैं? अगर वो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स नहीं मीट हो रहे तो क्या वजह है कि वो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स नहीं मीट हो रहे? और ये भी हो सकता है कि जो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स आपने डिजाइन नहीं किए, जो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स आपने डिफाइन नहीं किए, देयर आर मोर गेन्स फ्रॉम दैट प्रोसेस. So you may realize that there are more benefits than you had actually expected. So evaluation is really important. How you can conduct evaluation? There may be a number of ways in which you can conduct evaluation. Immediate evaluation of a mentoring program should be conducted in the form of interviews. You may talk to the mentor or protege for let's say 10-15 minutes, and you try to analyze, you try to ask them whether they are satisfied with the program, whether they would like any additions, whether they would like to improve the working of the program, whether what kind of benefits they are getting from this program. So immediate feedback that can be received in the form of interviews. And because mentoring programs, they are run for a long period of time, you may want to carry out an evaluation in a longitudinal manner. A cross-sectional evaluation may not suffice because it is a relationship which will be, first of all, created, then it will develop, then people will bond together, then they will start realizing the benefits of that. So there may be a number of dynamics at each stage of this development. And you may want to know, you may want to understand how people are progressing in that relationship. So a longitudinal assessment, evaluation will be more useful. Then interview से तो आपको एक general idea हो जाएगा, एक general information आपको मिल जाएगी. You may want to get a detailed feedback in the form of surveys. You may ask your proteges as well as mentors to fill in detailed and specific information about the characteristics and the benefits of a mentoring program. So that would be a cross-sectional evaluation, that would be a cross-sectional feedback at one point in time. But if you want to make it a longitudinal feedback, you can get that questionnaire or the survey filled at different points in time. So evaluation can be carried out in a number of ways. It can be carried out in many variations, and the amount of evaluation that you carry out should be balanced with the costs and benefits of the program. You may not want employees to be spending too much time on giving interviews or filling up questionnaires. The amount of effort and time that is put into this evaluation, that should be balanced with the costs and benefits of the program. If your mentoring program is run as a huge activity, as a major investment of your organization, then it must be evaluated very rigorously. If it is a sort of unstructured program in which there is not a lot of investment, there's not a lot of time that is given to it, then the evaluation should be adjusted accordingly. So evaluation must be carried out to make the program more effective. And finally, one of the very important aspects of an effective mentoring program is that employee development should be rewarded, which means that if mentors are able to develop their employees, if they are able to help people progress in their careers, that development should be rewarded. if your proteges, they are successful in the organization, if your proteges, they make a career path in your organization, a successful career path in your organization, and they are able to perform better than other people, that performance should be rewarded. You should be rewarded for their good performance. So employee development should be the good performance of proteges that should also be rewarded to the mentor as well. So that is very important for an effective mentoring program. So these were the few characteristics of a mentoring program which can make a mentoring program more effective. Today we have discussed about mentoring relationships, which is one type of interpersonal relationships which can be employed for employee development. In the next session, we will be talking about another type of interpersonal relationship, which are coaching relationships. So we will conclude our discussion today. Until next time, Allah Hafiz.